Hey everyone, it's Ryan. Let me start this video off by saying that you should never, ever try to start a fire using gasoline. Doing so can not only endanger yourself, but also everyone around you. With that said, in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to safely start a fire using gasoline. Now, I know a lot of people will just say that you should never start a fire with gasoline under any circumstances whatsoever. However, I am a realist and I realize that there are going to be people out there who start fires with gasoline. And even though it's not the safest way of doing so, it is a perfectly legitimate way of getting a fire started in a hurry. So I got a bit of gasoline behind me and I've got a pile of wood in front of me that I want to get burned up. So when they came through and logged this pasture off, they kind of did a number on the pasture, and there's just a lot of random wood piles just laying around. And it's my goal to kind of get some of them burned up, push them together and burn them again to try to get some of this rid of some of this leftover wood. So I decided that I'm going to make a bit of a fire safety video showing you guys the safe ways to put gasoline on your pile so that you can get it started safely. So here's the pile that I'm going to be burning in. I don't expect all of it to take off, but I do have one particular area that I would like to get some of the wood burned up in, and that is in this area right here. I think I'm gonna pour the gasoline right in here. That should allow it to soak down through. And what we're trying to do is to make this as safe as possible. And what you want to do is when you pour the gasoline on, you have to be very careful when you do it so that you do not get any gasoline on yourself. But when you do so, you have to let it sit so that way the gasoline has a bit of a chance to soak in. Doing so will not only reduce the amount that the gasoline will flash or how fast it will take up or start on fire, but it'll also help the wood to burn a little bit longer and a little bit hotter by letting it soak in. If you go to start a fire right after pouring the gasoline, what will happen usually is it's a quick poof and then the fire burns a little bit and then it's gone. That's kind of where it gets dangerous too, because a lot of people don't think that the fire will spread quite like it does. So when you go to pour gasoline, gasoline has a very, very low surface tension, which means that compared to water, gasoline doesn't like to form in droplets. Gasoline likes to spread out. So as you pour it onto things, the gasoline will not just form pools, it will spread out as much as it can, unlike water. Usually when you pour water in someplace, it usually tends to stay there. Gasoline will spread to just about everything. So that's just one of the characteristics of gasoline. They do make like gels and stuff that they kind of incorporate and with gasoline, and that's kind of like a slower burning. But a lot of people will just have gasoline sitting around, and that's usually their go-to thing. I know that a lot of people will say, you know, you should never start a fire with gasoline, but I'm kind of the person who says that, you know, I'm a realist. I acknowledge that people are going to try to start fires with gasoline, and my thinking is that if I can show you guys how to do it more safely, well, then I'm doing nothing but helping. A lot of people will say that you should just flat out not do it. And I've looked this up, advice on how to start fires with gasoline without making it spread too much, and there's really not a whole lot of advice on that. A lot of people online will just say, you know, you shouldn't do it. Use this, use X, Y, and Z instead. So to try to make things a little bit safer, this is why I'm making this video. So without further ado, I'm going to start spreading the gasoline onto the fire, or onto the pile. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to hold the nozzle down as low as I can to reduce the amount of splashing back, not only on me, but everywhere else, to where I might not expect it to be. So when I go to throw the match on it, I can stand back at a safe distance, throw the match, and then it should stay within a pretty well contained area. I'm going to put gloves on for this, just so that if there is any splashback on my hands, I can remove my gloves before I strike the match, so that way my gloves/hands don't start on fire. I've seen videos where people go to start a gasoline fire and they don't realize just how much the gasoline spreads. They go light it and then they're engulfed in flames. And it's part of one of the things that we're trying to do to reduce the chances of that happening, because as you pour gasoline, there are chances that fumes or vapors from the gasoline will get on your clothing, and that can cause your clothing to start on fire rather easily. So I'm going to take my gas can and I'm going to start spreading it Again, I'm going to keep the nozzle pretty low and close to where the pile is. I'm not going to hold it up high and let it splash around. So I've let this sit for about 1.5 to 2 minutes. As of right now, by the time I go to light it, it's probably going to be quite a bit later yet. However, the thing that you want to do after you pour the gasoline on, and this is a pretty important step, is to make sure that the gasoline can is far, far away from where the fire is going to be. And right now, it's up in the gator, and it's currently upwind, so I don't have to worry about anything coming back down, any ash landing on it and starting it on fire. So now I'm going to go ahead, and I got to set my camera up yet, but I'm going to light a match and throw it on and see what kind of reaction we get. So I'm going to stand back and I'm going to throw the match on to approximately where the fire should start, or where the gasoline was poured, so that way we can get the fire going. So the fire took pretty well. Now as the gasoline burns, hopefully it's going to start burning up some of that drier wood in there, but I'm also going to be walking around. I'm going to be grabbing as much wood as I can because there's a lot of stuff just laying around here. And I'm going to try to set it on fire. That way I can keep the fire going. Since it's been pretty snowy, the ground really isn't that dry at all, so I'm not really concerned about it, you know, going and starting a fire somewhere else. And maybe this is a bit of a sensitive subject, especially with the California fires that are going on right now, but I figured, hey, what's a better way to talk about starting a fire safely than actually doing it, so. Well, now we've got a pretty good fire going. I'm just going to let it die out now. It's burning up pretty good. It's not burning up the tree limbs quite as well as I was hoping, but good job for the Bobcat another time. Push it up and try starting it on fire again. So I hope you guys learned a little bit something from this video. Learned a little bit how to be a little bit more safe with gasoline. You can never be too safe. So I know that there's a lot of those safety freaks who say that, you know, you should never start a fire with gasoline, but I think that people are going to do things like that anyway, so might as well teach them the safe way to do it. So thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to check out all of our other videos. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, all how farms work, and I'll see you next time.